In this fifth and final section, we'll explore strategies to increase cooperation. Understanding how to foster collaboration and resolve conflict is crucial for positive social interactions and outcomes. Before we get too far into the section, I want you to take a look at this video here, as this video highlights the Sharif's Robbers Cave experiment. And this study was designed to test whether it's possible to create an in-group, out-group bias and whether this bias can be reversed. And this seminal study did provide valuable insights into the dynamics of competition, conflict, and cooperation among groups, with implications for reducing hostility among different groups that we refer to as conflict resolution strategies. So now let's discuss some of these conflict resolution strategies and some key approaches that include things like contact, cooperation, communication, and conciliation. Just as in Sharif's study, bringing people together or into contact with each other and mediating hostility and aggression is one way to mitigate conflict. Contact involves bringing these people together in ways that reduce hostility and aggression. And it's important that this contact centers on meetings that are non-competitive and that work to build equal status between the groups or individuals involved. Also, working on cooperative tasks that require joint discussion, planning, and execution. And this allows members to work together to achieve common goals, resolving conflicts, and fostering unity. This is often facilitated by establishing superordinate goals, which are shared objectives that are more important than any individual or group differences. These shared goals are essential for creating an environment where collaboration can thrive. And this experiment demonstrated that competition alone does not necessarily reduce intergroup prejudice. Superordinate goals are necessary to build peace, and groups must cooperate and have common goals. Furthermore, communication is critical. Conflict can frequently occur from misperceptions and misunderstandings of each other's intentions or behavior. Therefore, open and collegial communication is vital as it promotes the compromise and understanding. For example, two people may conflict because they both believe that the other person is trying to take advantage of them, and this may not be true and can be clarified. Finally, help the conflicting parties reach conciliation, which is the process of finding common ground and reaching compromise. When individuals or groups hold distinctive sets of values, conflicts can arise due to conflicting priorities and beliefs. Therefore, redirecting them to their shared objectives helps to resolve conflicts and foster a sense of unity. For example, individuals or groups may conflict over how to achieve their goals because their values differ. A parent and a child may conflict, for instance, over what television shows are appropriate based on differing value systems. And in summary, the Robbers Cave experiment underscores how competition can escalate into conflict, but cooperation based on shared goals um, can transform this into collaboration. The findings have implications for reducing hostility among racial, ethnic, and national groups, emphasizing the importance of shared objectives in overcoming conflict. As we wrap up, let's discuss individual and situational differences that influence who cooperates and who competes. We'll focus on things like age, sex, gender, personality, and culture. Now, as we age, we tend to report experiencing fewer problems within our social relationships. Older adults are more likely to use cooperative and communicative strategies to manage conflict. On the other hand, younger adults may be less likely to use cooperative strategies and opt for more confrontational methods. And there are mixed findings on whether there are sex differences in competition, conflict, and cooperation. When we control for situational factors, men and women engage in conflict and cooperate at almost the equal rate. So sex and gender differences in cooperation may also depend on who is involved in the situation. But more research is needed to understand these differences beyond the traditional dichotomy. Concerning personality, some people are naturally more predisposed to be prosocial and cooperative than others. For instance, people with narcissistic type traits are often more competitive and less cooperative than their counterparts. And of course, culture can influence cooperation. People from collectivistic cultures tend to be more cooperative than people from individualistic cultures. And so in section 5, we've discussed the dynamics of cooperation and conflict resolution, exploring strategies to bridge divides and foster collaboration. We began by understanding the roots of conflict, examining sources like incompatible goals, misperceptions, and differences in values. These insights are crucial for recognizing and addressing conflict effectively. We then explore strategies for conflict resolution, including contact, cooperation, and the establishment of superordinate goals, clear communication, and conciliation. The Sharif Robbers Cave experiment provided a powerful illustration of how superordinate goals, shared objectives that transcend individual differences, can effectively reduce intergroup conflict. And we also discussed the factors that influence cooperation, including age, sex, gender, personality traits like narcissism, and cultural variations. This highlighting the importance of considering those factors in promoting collaborative environments. And ultimately, this section emphasized the importance of building cooperation by focusing on shared objectives and working together to achieve common goals, rather than allowing individual or group differences to create more division. So, in summary, the Hunger Games has provided us a unique opportunity to observe and gain a better understanding of the concepts of competition, conflict, and cooperation in their most brutal and stark forms. Competition can be a driving force for innovation and achievement, but it can also lead to conflict. At the core of the Hunger Games, this ruthless competition was driven by the capital as a form of entertainment and social control. The tributes are pitted against each other in a fight to the death with only one survivor. And this environment amplifies the most primal instincts of self-preservation, where the lines between competition and violent, destructive conflict blurs. We understand conflict is a natural part of social life, but it's important to understand the causes of conflict and develop strategies for resolving it effectively. The Hunger Games are designed to instill conflict among the districts as a way for the capital to maintain its power and control. And this conflict isn't just about survival within the arena, but also manifests in the psychological toll and underlying tensions within the districts themselves. The capital's propaganda and the ever present threat of violence exacerbate fear, distrust, and division on a societal scale. However, overshadowed by the spectacle of violence, the Hunger Games also shows us that power of cooperation in extreme circumstances. Cooperation can have many benefits for individuals and societies, such as increased productivity, improved problem solving, stronger relationships, and reduced conflict. Alliances emerge within the games, driven by desperation, mutual interest, or genuine connections. And these alliances, however fleeting, show how cooperation can be a vital survival strategy against all odds. The rebellion instigated by Katniss itself is born from cooperation, illustrating the power of uniting against a common oppressor, even within a world seemingly designed to prevent it. And feel free to take a few minutes to discuss these questions in your comments below. One, how do we strike a balance between healthy competition and fostering cooperation in our places we exist, such as schools, workplaces, and community? And second, which of the strategies for increasing cooperation, considering contact, superordinate goals, and so on, do you find the most effective and why? Can you give examples from your own experiences where these strategies have worked or even failed in the past? Thank you so much for tuning in.